Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Ryan, and today I just wanted to take a couple minutes to review our problem-solving matrix that we talked about during our lessons. If you remember, we talked about how our brain and our bodies feel depending on what zone we're in, and how that zone can be affected by the choices that other people make. And because we don't live in a perfect world, there are going to be times where we get frustrated, we get angry, we get disappointed even in our friends or our classmates or even our family members. Since we're spending a whole lot of time with family lately, you might be thinking, lately the biggest conflicts I've had have been with my brothers or my sisters. So this problem-solving matrix gives you lots of options to pick an appropriate response when you're feeling this way. Remember, none of our feelings are bad, but we do need to make a healthy decision when we're in those moments of feeling like we're in the yellow zone and we're starting to lose control, or maybe we're already out of control and we're in that red zone, or maybe we're in the blue zone because we've had our feelings hurt and we're really disappointed and we're sad. These are things that you can do to help solve that problem on your own and help take care of your brain and your body. So the first one listed up here to the top left, as you can see where my pointer is ignore it. Now, this is a fantastic strategy, but like I said during my lessons, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it all the time. It would be no problem. But there's a trick to using this strategy. You need to use a lot of self-talk, and you need to put in your mind these two sentences. I am not looking, I am not listening. Do you remember when we kind of clapped that out during our lesson? I'm not looking, I'm not listening. Repeat those sentences over and over in your head until some of those thoughts that are so frustrating, so irritating, kind of leave your head, or at least calm down and get a little smaller. So ignore it is a great strategy, but if you're having a hard time with it, instead of thinking about what happened over and over and how mad you are, how upset you are, how unfair this has been, just tell yourself, I'm not looking at that situation, I'm not listening to that situation, I'm going to ignore it. And this is really great when those tiny little annoyances come up, like someone at school is tapping their pencil, or maybe your brother is chewing too loud at the dinner table. I don't know. So the next one is walk away. I am moving away from this problem. And this is another really simple option. If you remove yourself from that situation, if you walk away, most times within a couple of minutes, you're going to feel a ton better. And you'll be able to move closer into that green zone, which we know is the best zone for us when we're trying to make a safe and healthy decision. We don't want to make that decision when we're in the red zone or the yellow zone because the thinking part of our brain isn't working well. It's just that feelings part of our brain that's so intense. So by walking away, we can calm ourselves down, and then when we feel more calm, we can decide what is the best choice for me as I'm looking to handle this situation. The third one in yellow is tell them to stop. So this is another one that is really effective, but you need to remember a couple of tips. Number one, we need to make eye contact. That means my eyes are looking at your eyes, not angry eyes, just my regular look as if I have something important to say. And in a calm, strong voice, I'm saying, please stop. I don't want to yell it. I don't want to sound like I don't really mean it. I want to sound very clear in my strong voice. And when we make eye contact with a person, remember that's letting them know I have something important to say. And it's also letting them know that I'm looking to really connect with you and make sure you hear this important thing that I have to say. So over here in this light purplish color is talk it out. So I always suggest that when you go to use this strategy that you are in the green zone as much as possible, because we need that thinking part of our brain to be able to speak in a calm, respectful, kind way. And it's going to be important that each person has a turn to share their feelings, and each person takes turns with the listening. And we don't want to start out by using words like you, when you did this, you did this. That makes people feel very accused and frustrated. The best way to open up a conversation in this situation is to say, when this happened, this is how I felt. So for example, if my brother went into my room and chewed my last 3 pieces of gum, and it was my favorite gum, I would say to him, Johnny, when you took my gum without asking, I felt really disappointed. I felt like you didn't respect my property and you didn't respect me enough to ask first. I really want you to not do that again, and please ask me if you want to use something of mine or borrow something of mine, okay? So again, you're going to make eye contact, you're going to use a strong, calm voice, and you're going to talk about, you're going to talk about how you felt when that situation happened. Down here in this peach color, we have compromise or win-win. This is when both people give a little bit. Each person is going to get a little bit of what they want. And in our lessons, if you remember, we came up with some really great examples. I think one of them was, what if my brother wants to watch his episode of Sesame Street, but I want to watch my episode of SpongeBob? And they're on at the same time, and we only have one television. We talked about in our lesson some ways that you could come up with a win-win solution for that problem. One solution was, you watch half of Sesame Street and I'll watch half of SpongeBob. We'll set the timer and we'll take turns. Both people aren't getting everything that they want, but each person is getting a little bit of what they want. So right across in this other light blue color, we have wait and cool down. And I recommend this strategy all the time. Remember, you can use more than one strategy at a time. So you're going to take time to calm down so that you can think clearly. And don't feel bad about that. This is actually really a sign of great maturity. This is a sign that someone's really growing up and understanding that if you wait and cool down, if you wait to talk about something when you're not so upset or in that yellow zone or that red zone, that you are going to have a much more successful conversation with that person that you're trying to find a solution with. Bottom left, apologize. That sounds really simple, but sometimes it's so hard because our pride might get in the way. And we might be thinking, well, it's not all my fault. Some of it is her fault or his fault. But if you make a mistake and you say, I'm sorry in a kind voice, most of the time that other person is going to think to themselves, you know what? He really wants to work this out with me, or she really made me feel comforted and calm that she just said, I'm sorry. And remember, being the first one to say sorry is so brave. And the very last one is share and take turns. And I know in my house, since we haven't been going to school, we've all had to do this. We've all had to do this a lot because all of the things in this house belong to all of us, mostly. Of course, the kids have a few of their own things, and so do my husband and I. But there's a lot of stuff that kind of belongs to the whole family, and they are meant to be shared. So we have to be fair. We have to make sure that everyone gets a turn, and we really practice a lot of that win-win. How can we compromise and find a way for all of us to feel like we win just a little bit? So I'm going to post this page so that you can look at this list of problem-solving strategies. And I'm also going to post this Zoom on my Google Classroom so that you guys can listen to this if you feel like you need a little reminder. I miss all of you so much. I really miss my classroom lessons with my K through 3 kids. You guys are the best, and you always come up with the best ideas and solutions, and I cannot wait till we get to see each other again. And I hope to hear that all of you have become even better problem solvers. Because remember, you can do any of these things on your own without having to get an adult. And I guarantee your parents will be very appreciative of that. Okay, guys, have a great day. I will talk to you soon.